They say laughter means happiness, but the strongest laughs are born from pain. The kind of laughter that echoes in empty rooms when everything you loved has already burned away. The kind that doesn't come from joy, but from survival. When the world pushes you to the edge, and you realize the only thing left to do is laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's over. That is when your soul wakes up. People think pain is supposed to make you cry, make you weak, make you kneel. But what they don't understand is that pain can also make you powerful. When you've suffered long enough, you start to see the truth. Tears don't change anything. Silence doesn't protect you. But when you laugh at what was meant to destroy you, something changes inside you. You stop being their victim. You become the one thing the world can't control. Picture it. You're broken, bleeding, lost. Yet, you smile. Not out of madness, but out of clarity. Because for the first time, you see how powerless the world really is when it can't make you suffer the way it wants you to. That's when you take back your strength. They want to see you collapse. They want your pain to entertain them. But when you laugh, you ruin their show. You remind them that their cruelty failed. You remind them that you've become untouchable. Pain doesn't break everyone. Some people learn to dance in it, and that's when the world gets afraid. Pain is the ultimate test, not of strength, not of power, but of response. Everyone suffers, but not everyone learns what suffering really means. Most people crumble under pain. They let it define them. They let it drag them down until their identity becomes their wounds. But some people are different. Some people face the same pain and choose to smile. They don't do it because they are unhurt. They do it because they refuse to let the pain win. A broken man who laughs is not broken anymore. He is dangerous, because once you stop being afraid of pain, the world loses its grip on you. People feed on weakness. They watch your reaction to suffering like vultures circling a wounded animal. The moment you cry, they find comfort in your defeat. But when you laugh, they panic. They don't understand how you can smile when everything is falling apart. It shakes them. It exposes their own fear. They want to see you scream. They want to see you beg. They want to see you collapse, because your pain entertains their emptiness. But when you smile, when you laugh through the suffering, you steal their victory. You show them that your spirit is something they can't touch. That's when the pain becomes your teacher instead of your enemy. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. Every scar, every heartbreak, every failure is shaping you into something stronger than what you were before. The world doesn't understand that. It thinks pain destroys you, but it actually refines you. It burns away your weakness, your fear, your hesitation. You become unbreakable the moment you start smiling at the things that were meant to destroy you. Because at that point, nothing and no one can take power over you again. The world is terrified of people who suffer in silence, but it is petrified of those who suffer and smile. There is something unnatural about that kind of strength. It breaks the rules of how pain is supposed to look. People are used to seeing weakness. They are used to watching others fall apart, cry, or beg for help. But when they see someone who has been shattered and still finds the will to laugh, it unsettles them. It confuses them, because they realize they can no longer control that kind of person. When you laugh in pain, you are sending a message that most people will never understand. You are telling the world that it no longer decides how you feel. You are proving that the pain it gave you no longer owns you. It is like breaking free from invisible chains. Every time you smile, you remind yourself that you survived. You might still be bleeding inside, but your laughter becomes your armor. It tells everyone watching that their attempts to destroy you have failed. You become like a mirror. The same pain they gave you reflects back at them, but now it burns them instead. They wanted to see you broken, desperate, on your knees. But when you laugh, you force them to face their own weakness. They see in you what they could never become. They see power in a form they cannot understand. That is why laughter can be more threatening than rage. Rage can be predicted. It can be managed. But a smile in the face of suffering is chaos, and chaos has no rules. Society does not know how to handle people like that. It calls them crazy, unstable, delusional, not because they are broken, but because they are free. When you laugh through pain, you no longer fit inside their labels. They cannot pity you, and they cannot predict you. You become something beyond their comprehension. People fear what they cannot categorize, and nothing is harder to categorize than a smile born from pain. Imagine walking through the chaos of your life with a calm grin, smoke rising behind you, fire lighting up the night sky, people shouting, running, breaking under pressure, while you keep moving forward. Your steps are steady, your eyes are calm, your laughter soft but steady. That image alone is enough to disturb anyone who has spent their life depending on control. Because in that moment, you represent freedom from everything that terrifies them. Laughter, when born from pain, becomes rebellion. It is how the broken declare war without lifting a hand. You are not ignoring the pain. You are mastering it. Every laugh becomes a reminder that pain cannot take your humanity. It cannot take your mind unless you give it permission. When you can laugh at what once hurt you, you prove that your heart still beats stronger than the wounds you carry. That is a level of control most people will never reach. They say courage is standing tall in battle. But true courage is smiling when you have every reason to collapse. True courage is laughing when life expects you to scream. That kind of defiance shakes the world. It exposes how fragile people truly are when faced with someone they cannot break. They call you mad to protect themselves from the truth. They call you dangerous because your strength reminds them of their fear. When you reach that point, you no longer have to fight for power. You already have it. Your peace becomes your weapon. Your laughter becomes your war cry. You stop reacting to the world and start controlling how the world reacts to you. Every smirk becomes a statement. Every calm breath under pressure becomes proof that they lost control over your emotions. You scare the world not by fighting it, but by refusing to let it see you bleed. Pain was supposed to be your weakness, but you turned it into something else. Something sacred. Something powerful. You turned it into a mask that hides your scars and reveals your strength. They will never understand it, and that is exactly why they fear it. When you can look pain in the eyes and laugh, you become untouchable. Not because the pain disappears, but because it no longer defines you. You rise above it. You use it. You feed on it until it becomes the fire that lights your path. And as you walk forward, calm and unshaken, the world watches in silence. It cannot explain what it sees. It cannot comprehend what you have become. It only knows one thing for sure. You no longer belong to its rules. That is the moment when you stop being a victim and start becoming a legend. Because no one can destroy a person who finds strength in their own suffering. They can take everything from you, but they cannot take your will to smile. That is the power they fear most. The power to stay calm when everything burns. The power to laugh when everything hurts. The power to keep walking when the world thought it had already buried you. That is how you rise. That is how you become the storm. And that is how you make the world afraid of your smile. Pain isn't the enemy. Fear is. The fear of what people think when they see you hurting. The fear of being judged, pitied, or seen as weak. That fear is what keeps most people silent, pretending to be fine while they crumble inside. But once you stop fearing how the world sees your pain, you free yourself. You stop performing for people who were never there to help you. You stop hiding behind a mask of perfection, and instead wear your truth like armor. Pain will visit everyone. No one escapes it. But what separates the weak from the powerful is how they carry it. Some people let pain become a prison. Others turn it into protection. The moment you stop trying to erase your pain, and instead embrace it, you become untouchable. Because the world can only use your suffering against you if you're ashamed of it. But when you wear your pain with pride, it becomes your strength. Every scar, every mistake, every heartbreak becomes proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Laugh when it hurts, not because you're okay, but because you've learned that nothing can take away your spirit. That laugh is not denial. It is acceptance. It is defiance. It is the sound of your soul refusing to bow. Every time you smile in the face of pain, you are telling life that you have already beaten its worst. You are reminding yourself that even in the darkest moments, your fire still burns. The world expects you to break. It wants you to give up, to fall apart, to lose control. Because once you collapse, you become predictable. But when you smile through the chaos, when you stand tall even while your heart aches, you show them something they cannot handle. You show them peace in the middle of destruction. You show them power that comes from pain. That is what the world fears most. People who cannot be broken are not controlled by fear, and the world depends on fear to keep everyone in line. The world only fears what it cannot break. And when you smile through the storm, you remind them that you're not one of them anymore. You have walked through fire and came out laughing. You have felt pain that could have ended you, but it only awakened something stronger inside. Your laughter becomes the echo of resilience. It tells every person watching that you have nothing left to lose, and that kind of freedom terrifies those who still live in fear. They will try to understand you, but they never will. They will call you strange. They will call you heartless. They will call you mad. But let them. Madness, my friend, is just freedom in disguise. It is the freedom to feel everything and still stay unshaken. It is the freedom to smile when others would rather hide. It is the freedom to live by your own rules, no matter how uncomfortable that makes the world around you. There is beauty in being misunderstood. There is power in not needing to explain yourself. Because when you stop explaining your pain, you stop needing their approval. You stop begging to be seen or understood. You start walking your own path quietly, calmly, without looking back. That is where real peace lives. Not in avoiding pain, but in mastering it. So the next time life tries to break you, remember this. Pain is temporary, but power is permanent. And power is not loud. It is not flashy. It is silent, calm, and unshaken. It lives in the heart of those who have learned to smile through suffering. Laugh when it hurts. Smile when you are tired. Keep walking when everything inside you tells you to stop. Because that is when you truly rise. That is when you become something the world can no longer touch. Laugh when it hurts. It confuses the weak and terrifies the powerful. It shows them that pain no longer controls you. It shows them that you have already won. Because the moment you can smile through the storm, you are no longer surviving life. You are mastering it. And that, right there, is what true strength looks like.